Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. Tonight, we have a good show for you guys. I have a little interview with John Waller. We're going to talk about a little bit about him. And then the next segment, we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield being traded to the Panthers with my dad and Jeremiah. And stick around because we have a new segment called Free for All. So let's get started.
Welcome to Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports talk show in the country. And now, here's your host, Jasmine Pollock.
Welcome back to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. And I want to bring in John Waller. So, John, nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. We're gonna have a good conversation. So, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, and there are a lot of things like that. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Jasmine. Nice to meet you as well. My name is John Waller, and for the last 25 years, I've been helping businesses out with custom on hold marketing messages that turn hold time into sold time when they put the most important asset of their business, their customers, clients, or patients on hold on the telephone. Speaking of first impressions, that's funny because the first company that I did this for was in 1997 was Impressions on Hold. And then they went away, and then my owner created his own company called the On Hold Experience. And so we just kept on keeping on with that. And so that's what I've been doing for the last quarter of a century. It's a great, fun business. A lot of people have never heard of it, which is interesting. I was at a ribbon cutting here in Albuquerque a few weeks ago at a car dealership, and one of the salesmen had never even heard of on hold messaging, which I thought was interesting because car dealerships all across the country are real big on having a message on hold. They can talk about all their different profit centers of, finance, parts, and service when they put the most important person on hold on the phone, their customers and referral sources. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. So, your company, is it a big company, and are you looking to expand on the company?
Great question. Oh, we're micro. There's only 4 or 5 of us, and as far as sales, it's my boss and I, and a couple other people that are in management. It's very small. It's very small. We don't need a lot of people. We have a studio of voice talent. People ask me that all the time. Who are our voice talent is? We have a studio of professional voices in southern United States that take care of making the messages and the copy, just like we have here on the show for voiceovers, for interviews and such. Yeah.
That's really cool. We need a lot more of that in a lot of different businesses to talk to people and making sure. I know currently I work for a company. We do a lot of phone calls and different things like that. So there's another thing that you do, which is professional stair climbing. I personally have never heard of that, but I'm very open to hearing about it. So how did you get started with that? What was your interest in that, and how is that going for you?
It's going real good. I just completed my eighth competitive race here in Albuquerque. It was in April 9th. It was the day I met my wife a couple months ago. And I had done some training at the Firefighter Academy, which is where the American Lung Association held the event. And we did it on a Saturday morning. It's 21 floors. So you're going up 7, down 7, up 7, down 7, up 7, down 7. And it was only 21. I got to tell you, it took me as long to recover from those 21 floors as it did from the 103 when I did Sears Tower in 2014. It was a beast, and it's probably because I hadn't trained as much as I did for Sears Tower 8 years ago. But it was really hard doing those 21 floors, and you're using your arms and you're using your legs, and it's all for time. I did 21 floors in 4.5 minutes, and it was brutal. So.
Yeah. That sounds very competitive. I know it sounds tiring, but I mean, it's very healthy getting your cardio moving and stuff like that. So Is there different leagues at all for this? Like, do they have leagues, like little small leagues around in the area?
That's a great question. No, there are no leagues. There's a website called towerrunning.com that people can check that out. And you asked me how I got involved with it. A friend of mine, Rory Vaden, who's one of the top speakers in the world with Toastmasters, wrote a book called taking it to the stairs. And so that got me excited and thinking about, since I had like 20 million steps on my Fitbit, I thought, well, the next thing is to climb. And so I went out online and I looked up stair climbs, and I happened to find one, which is what this medal here on Bling Bear is from. This is from RIC, which is the Rehab Institute of Chicago. And these folks do amazing work. They've got functioning quadriplegics climbing Sears Tower. Functioning quadriplegic is somebody that's lost all use of all four limbs. And you can actually see videos online. This guy named Terry, I went by him in 2014 doing the climb. And I wanted to see, how long it took him in the flight dojo, as I call it, to climb 103 floors. Because he had a crutch and he had somebody behind him. Like when you have a stroke, which I had in 2013, they have somebody with a strap to keep you up so you don't fall down. He had that. And so I passed him, so I knew he was part of RIC. Took Terry 4 hours to climb Sears Tower. That's what it takes the Wallinator to do a half marathon. Like Leon and I were talking about doing halves this morning. And that's what it takes me to do a half marathon. It takes me 7 hours to do a full one. But it's just, what kind of training does one do for this? Boss, great question. You need to find a building. And when I trained for Sears Tower in 2014, I lived a mile from Levi Stadium where the Niners play. And I would train in the parking garage, which is 5 floors. And I trained in the Santa Clara Hyatt, which is right next door. I call it the Burj de Santa Clara. It was 12 floors. I would sometimes do 300 floors of training on a Sunday to get ready, because you've got to like be able to burst it. And people tell me, like my son taught me this. My son did the same event with me. He says, you can't stop. He says, and that's what killed me. I got to floor 80 and I stopped and was talking to some people, got to 88 and stopped again. And that's what, like, my timeout is. You can't stop. You've got to keep using those rails and just keep going. If you have to slow down, that's fine. But no, I probably could beat my producer. I would think so. But you do not stop. When you're in the flight dojo, I don't care what your speed is, don't stop. Like Tim, my son, and I did 40 floors for American Lung Association 2 years ago in Portland. So that was 40 floors. So Tim beat me by 30 minutes when we did Sears. 2 years ago, we were climbing the U.S. Bank building in Portland, and it was 40. And Tim did it in 13, and I did it in 16. He only beat me. He only crushed me by 3 minutes that time. Came in first in my age group of geezers. So I got a medal that day for that. So see, you can see I'm all about the bling. That's why I have it there.
Of course, that's what matters. You have to get the bling.
You got to get the bling.
Another question about it: do you do this like year round, or is it like once a year, or is it very frequent?
Great question. That's why I said when you go out to the internet and you look for stair climbs, I mean Chicago freaking crushes it. I mean all those buildings. Like Tim did one. It was up one building, come down, go up another one, 60, come down, go up another one. So like there's like 4 buildings in one event. Same thing in Seattle. Now, like, so April, we just did the one here in Albuquerque. June, they had a stadium stomp in Vegas. February 26th, the last Sunday in February in Vegas, is Scale the Strat. My wife and I were going to do it. I'm just thinking, I don't know if the knees can do it, but it's February 26th. That's for the American Lung Association. That's the Scale the Strat. So there's climbs all over the darn place. Seattle's got it's a really cool name. It's the the Space Needle. It's the Space Needle climb. It's in September, and of course in Seattle, and it's a real. I've never done that one. I would like to do that one. But my only concern is that's 500 feet and it's outside. I like inside. When I did the 21 floors here at the Firefighter Training Academy, it was outside, and I don't like heights. I didn't like that feeling of being outside. Put my butt in the building, and I'll do that all day long.
Oh, wow. So that's really cool. I really want to look into this now because it's very interesting. I've just never heard of it. Yeah, it's very new to me.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure what kind of sports you do now, but it's the best training on the planet you'll ever
Mhm.
do. And the best way to train for it is just find a building and go out and do 20 to 30 floors every day. Or if
Wow.
you live in an apartment complex, just do
Mhm.
sprints. Because, oh, I saw this guy, he's 40, and he did this thing, he killed it in April. And I said, well, what's your deal? He's a what do you call it? The people that go out and do the field training, like running in hills.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mhm.
That's what he does. And this guy's totally ripped, major abs, and he's 40 years old, and he was
Wow.
just crushing it. And he's going to be there February 26th in Vegas. Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to getting in tune with that. So on to your show. You have
Yeah.
your show called The Referral Source, which airs
Yeah.
every Monday at 3:30. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks. What we do is I invite on guests, and doesn't cost them anything, just come on, and I want them to get the word out about who they are and what they do and who they do it to. Today we had Coach Mike Martin, who works with a company called Real Time, and it's a product that you can rub on. You rub it on. What he calls it is you rub it on and the pain is gone. It helps people that are stair climbers, hockey players. They've got 5 hockey teams that are using it. It's a great product that helps people with muscle pain. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's really cool. I would love to be on that show
I'd
with
love
you
to have you on.
because
Yeah,
I've heard about it a little bit talking with Leon. But before we go to
calendar's
break,
right here. The calendar's
oh,
right here.
oh really?
Your name
That's
on it.
cool. That's cool. So before we go into break, what is your favorite team? Either NFL, NHL, NBA, you name them. What's your favorite team?
Great question. I want to answer Boss's question real quick.
Yeah.
When you go to the building on a regular day, that's a really great question, Boss. I'm anti-elevators. If I can go in there, like if I'm in Vegas, I'm going to try and use the stairs as much as I can. I was just there in May to celebrate the 25 years of On Hold. I try to use the stairs as much as I can. Not so much coming down, but going up for sure, because I want to take advantage of that. There was a guy on Facebook a couple years ago. He was staying at the Burj Dubai over at UAE, and it was funny because he was a stair climber, and he says, I wanted to train, but the KGB, the security, would not let him train in the tallest building on the planet. Yeah. So, but you're asking me about my teams. I'm a Niners guy. I like Kansas City, and I like Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
My dad will like that because obviously I live in the Tampa Bay area, so my dad, he's a huge Bucs fan. I am not a
Did
Bucs
he
fan
play
at all.
professional sports?
Did my dad play professional sports? No. He played football before, though.
Okay. How about you?
Yeah.
Which I noticed is a Gator sweatshirt.
Yeah, I am a Gators fan, but when I attend Warner University and I played flag football last year. So and I played softball in high school. So
Got it.
Yeah. I'm a big sports person.
That would be a great show. That'd be good talking sports.
Yes. Thank you for being on the show, John. It was a pleasure. And I'm definitely going to make sure you send me all the information about the stair climbing because I'm very interested now.
You can
talking
send it to my digital business card and let's chat.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. So
we're
going to head to
buildings there. So yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Places to climb.
Yeah. Thank you. That wraps up this segment. We're going to head into Baker Mayfield being traded to the Panthers and our reactions to that. So we're going to hear from our sponsors, Rent the Runway, The Smoke Shack, and Falling from the Sky. So we'll be right back for more sports talk.
Renting is everything. It's style at your doorstep. Off the runway and into your closet. It's every trend you've been dying to try and every designer you've yet to discover. It's wearing it your way every time and making it count everywhere you go. It's never worrying about what to wear because something new is always coming your way. That's why renting is everything. New styles, top designers, all for a flat monthly fee. Start your subscription at renttherunway.com.
slow roasted over hickory fire and pulled by hand. This is the way pit pork has always been done. Pulled pork lovers, rejoice. The smoky old days are back at the Smoke Shack. From the creative team that brought you The Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
You're watching Jasmine Pollock's First Impressions Sports Talk. Be sure to join Jasmine every week for great conversation on the NBA, NFL, and a wide variety of sports topics. To see past episodes of First Impressions Sports Talk, go to YouTube and search First Impressions Sports Talk. You can connect with Jasmine on LinkedIn by searching Jasmine Pollock. And now, back to more First Impressions Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. And the voices you just heard were from Dion Hunter and Kelly Johnson. So I want to thank them always for giving their voiceover work. And if you're looking to do voiceover work, you can always go to leonthomasgroup.com to get voiceover work done. And if you want to keep up with me and you want to be a guest on my show, you can go to my website at jasmineonsports.com to look up past videos, look up future videos that are coming. And again, if you want to be a guest on my show. So let's bring in Jeremiah and my dad. I am excited.
Yeah, how you doing, Mr. Pollock?
Hey, what's going on, man?
We're just gonna get started right now. Jazz having a little bit of technical difficulties where it sounds, but we're gonna get right into it and talk about, of course, the main topic, which is Baker Mayfield going to the Panthers. Mr. Pollock, what do you think about, Baker Mayfield actually going to the Panthers? Do you think that they can be a playoff team?
Well, I don't know because I'm not. I have to see what Baker's one of those things you just have to wait and see. Because he's had his ups and downs with Cleveland. Could there be more about the organization than him? Sure, it could be. But now he's in a new situation. So we're going to see that. Definitely, it makes it very intriguing because now are the Carolina Panthers a contender in that division now? Or are they going to be the same Carolina Panthers? That also speaks a lot to, do the Browns know something we don't know about the Deshaun Watson situation? I mean, if they're confident enough to let him go, they're either very confident in his backup, or confident that Watson will be playing this year. So that's very interesting that they would let him go. I think under the circumstances they had to let him go too because he was a little disgruntled. So you don't want that in your locker room. They didn't have to let him go, but that tells me that they have confidence that they think Deshaun may possibly play this year.
And just the details about that particular trade, when we look at it, you see here, Panthers send Browns 2024 conditional NFL draft pick. The Panthers will pay $4.85 million of Mayfield's salary, while the Browns will pay $10 million, a source told ESPN by Adam Schefter. And the Browns will receive a 4th or 5th round pick in the 2024 draft. So that's what they gave up to get Baker. I don't know. That says a lot about him as a player. To me, this does not make the Browns or the Panthers at all a playoff team. I don't think that they are a playoff team. They don't have much. I mean, it's really sad what happened to Baker Mayfield, but I don't think he's like the godsend this team is looking for. I don't think he's going to be, oh man, Baker Mayfield, because when you look at the division, you have Tom Brady in that division. I think the Bucs are going to win that division, and the second team is probably going to most likely be the Saints. I think Jameis is going to come back. When he gets back healthy, he's going to be a force to reckon with. They have a receiving core. They drafted Chris Olave, the best receiver in the draft to me. So when I look at this division, I really don't see the Panthers in the mix. I just see this, it's between the Saints and the Bucs to me. So, Dad, what do you think? Being that you are a Bucs fan and you see Baker coming in this division, what's your take? Do you see them? I know you mentioned it before, but are they going to be battling it out with the Saints and the Bucs?
I think for the Carolina Panthers, I think it's less about Baker Mayfield and more about their defense. Do I think well, obviously the Carolina Panthers see something in Baker, and you have to think Baker did have glimpses of greatness with the Browns, although it was few and far between, but he has shown the ability to win games. So maybe the Carolina Panthers are thinking, hey, we get him in a new environment, and he's still pretty young. He still has the physical tools. So he may make that team a better team, but I think it's more so about Carolina's defense because playing against Brady, I wouldn't worry too much about Baker. It would be more so about the defense worrying about whether they can slow Brady down and, Baker can protect the ball. But, yeah, I don't think that's going to make them any more of a contender because Baker's there.
Yeah, so Jeremiah, do you think Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback? That's been the question. I know Skip Bayless, that's Skip Bayless's guy. I think Baker Mayfield he's a C. I'll say that, but go ahead.
Yeah, because when it comes to Baker Mayfield, he is, I say, decent and maybe average. He's your average guy to come, as, maybe your backup or just maybe somebody that could just be like, okay, hold this for a little bit, while I get something to drink, or just, a person that just held it steady for a minute, but you don't trust them to carry the whole load. I'm going to say just like that, because when it comes to their whole team right now, I'm going to look especially at this Carolina's team. Their only big star player that they have on their team right now is McCaffrey, but he can't stay healthy. And then plus you got additions with DJ Moore and also Rashard Higgins and, the other one, Foreman, that played with the Titans. But at the same time, I don't think that's enough. With Baker Mayfield and his past mistakes, especially with so much talent he had with the Browns, I just don't think he's going to get them to the promise.
When we looked at the Browns team, they had a top running team, one of the best running teams in the league, a top 10 defense. I think their O-line was number 1 in the league, if I'm not mistaken. But Baker Mayfield, he had one good season where, okay, they won the playoff game, whatever. But to me, when I look at Baker Mayfield, I don't see someone that, can put a team on his back and excel. Is he better than Joe Burrow? Absolutely not. I saw those comparisons. He is nowhere near. Joe Burrow in his second season was able to get his team to a Super Bowl, and he had a worse O-line than Baker Mayfield did. So, I mean, he was able to make it happen. There's a lot of quarterbacks I will put above Baker Mayfield, but it says a lot it says a lot about Baker and the Browns for the Browns to say, you know what, and he was a first-round pick, Heisman Trophy winner.
Yes.
And they say we want Deshaun, and we know what Deshaun stands for. He's a phenomenal talent, but with all the accusations, with all the things going around Deshaun, they still chose Deshaun over you, and you were a number 1 pick in the draft, and you were a Heisman Trophy winner. And they said, you know what, we're done with you, Baker. So that's a little painful if I'm Baker, but I think that whole team, they need to separate him, and Baker and that team need to separate. But let's get into free for all. And now we're going to talk about quarterbacks in this one. So Dad, let's bring Dad in. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks. So this week they put out a top 10 QB list, and I'm going to name off the QBs in this list. So number 1, Aaron Rodgers. 2, Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen 3. Tom Brady 4. Joe Burrow 5. Matthew Stafford 6. Justin Herbert 7. Russell Wilson 8. Deshaun Watson 9, and then Dak Prescott number 10. So I want to ask you guys, who in this list has the most pressure? Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say Dak Prescott, to me, has to be the one with the most pressure. Because if you look at, because think about it, Russell Wilson's already proven himself. Russell Wilson should essentially have 2 Super Bowls right now, but we're not going to get into that. But Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott has one of the biggest contracts, if not the biggest contract of that whole list.
Yep.
He also plays for quote unquote America's team, and the Dallas Cowboys have underperformed with that high paid quarterback and the biggest team, so to speak. So I think he has the most pressure, because at what point do we start talking about, okay, Tony Romo had an issue, and now look at Dak Prescott. He's putting up big numbers, but is not consistently winning playoff games. And yes, he was hurt, but I just don't see him getting them over the hump. And in order for him to get out of this little stigma with Dallas, he's going to have to get over the hump and win some playoff games. Because I think every year now, the Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl or bust based off of the type of publicity they get and what, their owner, how he puts them out. So I think they have to go to the Super Bowl, because if they don't, it's every year is a waste if he don't make it to the Super Bowl.
My biggest question, why is he in this list?
It's a good question.
Why is he in this list to begin with? I'm gonna be honest with you. I put Lamar on this list, and I put Lamar at 10.
I was just about to say that same thing.
In this list, why?
Yeah, because there's the top 10s all over the place. But if you be talking about, who has the most pressure this coming season, I would say
Rodgers.
Dak. I would say Dak.
Aaron Rodgers.
But at the same time, I would say Patrick Mahomes too. Look at Patrick Mahomes. This is a year with him without Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
You're going to see what is he really made for. Now, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, we've seen what he did without Devontae Adams and how he won himself a Super Bowl. But Patrick Mahomes, how are you going to do after Tyreek has left the building? You're having a new additions of different wide receivers.
Jeremiah, we lost our number one guy. Okay, Aaron has to start all over again. Okay, we have a lot of great talent. I'm seeing a lot of good talent from our young receiving core, but you mean to tell me out of everybody on this list, Aaron does not have the most pressure? He is, but the number one. But at the same time,
I think he's coming out of his division.
Well, you know what? Well, Jasmine, okay, I'm gonna say you have a point there, because I wasn't thinking. So Dak hasn't won anything, so the pressure on him is to just get to the dance. Aaron Rodgers hadn't had a Super Bowl in quite a long time, and he has the age factor.
Yes.
So the age factor, along with that, yes, you might be right about that. I would give it to Aaron. I will change that and say Aaron probably has slight more pressure right now, because he's considered one of the greatest. If he's going to consider, he's got to put multiple Super Bowls under his belt. Until that happens, he's going to always have those question marks. Even though I believe he's one of the greatest talents we've ever seen in the NFL at that position, and there's a lot of factors like defense, offense, different things around him, special teams. But ultimately, that's going to come on the quarterback's shoulders.
Yeah,
because
you're going to get all the backlash. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but Dak Prescott at all shouldn't be on this list. I don't know why they put him on this list. Especially over Lamar Jackson, who is a league MVP. Dak Prescott has not won any type of MVP. So I would put Lamar at 10. Or for sure, I'll put Lamar at 10. But the next one, why is Josh Allen over Joe Burrow? So
that's a huge question, because
that is a great question. That's a good question.
So this is my thing. Josh Allen is great, but Joe Burrow in his second year, like I said before, took his team to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen has not gotten past Kansas City.
In addition, with a terrible O-line too. With a terrible O-line.
To be honest with you, Joe Burrow probably shouldn't fall out of the top 5 of that list.
I agree.
Because his resume is it's smaller than some, but he's already been to the Super Bowl, and this is also after this guy suffered a knee injury. And when we saw him prior to the knee injury, he looked good, and guess what? He fell right back in, and guess what? He's a player or 2 away from winning that Super Bowl.
Yes.
So when you look at that,
Wow, but I don't. What do we have to say about Josh Allen? I still have Josh Allen in the top 10, but I don't see him at number 3 over Tom Brady too.
I was just about to say that.
He's
There's
over.
no
Okay,
way
so
that
he's over. So Josh Allen is over Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, and Russell Wilson, and Justin Herbert.
He hasn't proven enough.
Yeah, and having Russell Wilson that low too is even outrageous to me.
I don't like that. But that means he's coming. You know what I mean? Because you guys know my favorite quarterbacks on this list is Russell Wilson and Aaron. So I mean, Russell Wilson's coming. I mean, people, whether they like it or not, he's coming. So it doesn't matter.
With the Broncos, he's coming. He's coming.
Fresh start. Yep.
So, but I don't understand with Josh Allen. Like, what are we? Okay, Josh Allen, like I said, he's a phenomenal talent. But you mean to tell me right now he's better than Joe Burrow? And Joe Burrow took his team to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
His second year. Josh Allen has not made it past the Chiefs yet.
Absolutely. You're right. Absolutely right. And guess what? A Chiefs that their defense is not the best.
No.
So he couldn't get through them. So, yeah, that is a big question.
And Bengals beat them twice, before the season ended, and plus in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I'll give you this. So I'll play devil's advocate for Josh Allen. They said, well, the overtime rules are going to be changed. It doesn't matter. He did not, but it could have went either way. If the Bills got the ball at the beginning or in the beginning of the overtime, I think they would have won. But it's too many times where we say, oh, Josh Allen, he's there, but he's not yet there.
Yeah.
But they have Von Miller now.
And plus, he didn't have his best season last season. He didn't have the best.
And the key thing is, though, you can change the rule, but hey, it's all about executing. So, hey, when you get your opportunity, you have to execute. And you look at it on both sides of the ball. Each team has an opportunity to stop the other team, no matter who gets the ball. So it's just like that through any other drive of the game. So in overtime, if your number's called to stop a drive, if you can't, then you didn't execute. So they can change the rules. Yeah. Would it be fair? Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, you still get the opportunity to execute on defense. So.
And I think the Bills are going to be a serious team because they did add Von Miller. So they added, somebody has the experience and a phenomenal defensive player and somebody they need to get pressure on the next quarterback.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this guy, Patrick Mahomes. What is our take on him? Is what's going on with him? Tyreek Hill's no longer there. I see a little dip a little bit last season. What you guys think?
I think that's going to hurt Tyreek Hill more than it's going to hurt Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the deliverer of the ball is still going to be able to deliver the ball. If the receiver's open, he's still going to be able to deliver the ball. And Tyreek Hill, you got to think, a receiver is a dependent position. So he's dependent on the quarterback delivering him the ball. Now, the reason he has this big contract for Miami is because of who? Because of him and Mahomes' connection.
Right.
Okay? So now he goes over to Miami, and guess what? He's going to be featured more. So if he's featured more, guess what defenses are going to do? They're going to focus on him more. So now we're going to figure out whether or not, with his speed and his skill set, that he's going to be able to get through these defenses because now you're the marquee player. That's a big deal because it's a difference when you're the marquee guy.
But think about this, Dad. Down there in Miami, they got a track team. You got Cedric Wilson. Devontae Parker's not there anymore, right?
No, they don't have Devontae Parker. That's Cedric Wilson. Mm-hmm.
They have Waddle. Jalen Waddle is there.
But you still have, but all of that track meet, but that track team is still dependent on Tua delivering ball.
But this is also another thing too. You see Patrick Mahomes, like when he's over there, try and get open and like having some time. That one person, which was Tyreek Hill, was the only one to get open at certain points of time.
Let me explain.
Travis Kelce was the nucleus of that receiving core. Travis Kelce. So when Travis Kelce is running down and splitting the seams like he's been splitting them, that also opened up a lot of space for Tyreek Hill as well because of the dominance of him as a tight end. Because he is in the center. So what I tell you, because even in the Super Bowl, when the Bucs beat them in the Super Bowl, what you have to look at is even when Mahomes was off and he was making throws that were almost hitting the mark, falling down. So the guy has accuracy. So I think that it's going to hurt Tyreek Hill. I just truly believe that because that's the reason he has that big. Somebody has to deliver the ball.
Yeah,
So we're
this.
going to see
I don't
if
know.
he's going to
I
be
mean,
able to
it's
get the
gonna
ball
be
But
there.
think,
telling. I mean, it's
but
gonna be a
hold
God
on,
thing
hold
for
on,
us.
hold on. When we look at this though, so you're saying it will hurt Tyreek Hill more. When I look at
100.
when I look at the AFC West and what they added, what the Raiders just added, what
Chargers.
the Chargers just added, and what the Broncos just added, Tyreek is not needed in the Kansas City right now.
No,
Yeah,
no.
so
So
yeah, wait, hold on.
what I'm saying as far as the individual, because the quarterback's still going to he's going to have opportunities to deliver the ball.
But
Tyreek
yeah,
Hill, he
I
has
don't
to run the
know.
route.
That's true, but I'm saying, but when it comes to that division, well, to me, I think the Kansas City is going to hurt more just based off how the division looks. Like what
Okay.
the Raiders just added, obviously Devontae Adams. I'm still hurt about that. Then, um, Chargers just added Khalil Mack to that defense, which is already stacked, and then Justin Herbert
Yep.
is still he's gonna have a huge season. They still have Keenan Allen. They have a lot of great young receivers over there. Then
True.
you look at the Broncos. They were a quarterback away, and now they have a quarterback. They have a whole receiving core over there with
The
the
Broncos
Broncos.
might take that division.
And that's what I'm saying. That so Tyreek leaving it leaves the Chiefs a little vulnerable in that division to match with those guys like that. Because if you give Russell Wilson, we know what Russell Wilson stands for. You give him that kind of team with a defense on the side of the ball, because the Broncos had the top three defense last year, but nobody
True.
talks about that because they didn't have the wins, the quarterback. Now they have a quarterback that can deliver. That leaves the Chiefs in a very weird position. I'm just saying, because you lose somebody like Tyreek
Now
Hill.
that I agree with. I agree with that. Yeah.
And then the Raiders, you add the Raiders added Devontae Adams to the mix. Is going to be a problem. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I don't know if the Patrick Mahomes is going to have the same amount of numbers sticking with those guys. That division is stacked. Like I'm very scared for the Chiefs in that division. Very scared.
Yeah, it's going to be actually a fun one because it's going to see what so many are made of. You see that division, like you just said, is going
stacked.
to be the most competitive, I think, do like next season. I think that's going to be the most competitive.
I think that's the most stacked division. I think it is. Like when we look from top to bottom, all these teams, and then what they added and how they added it, that division is going to be fun to watch. And please watch out for the Chargers. That's a young team right there with Justin Herbert, how he played. He gained my respect when I saw him go into Tampa and play Brady the way he did, and how they went back and forth. And now you add Khalil Mack to that defense. They have Derwin James. They have Joey Bosa's brother. All of that, man, I don't know. The Chargers is going to be scary. They're going to be scary.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because I know every team looks great on paper right now, but when it's time,
I'm going to say this.
Even though the experience is going to come out for some.
Even though Devontae is over there, I still don't trust Derek Carr. Because I'm being honest with you. So
yeah, but I'm gonna tell you. But Derek Carr, I'm gonna tell you something about that though. Derek Carr kind of suffered a little bit. How Jameis Winston suffered a little bit. He's had a lot of turbulence with the organization. Because when Derek Carr was on, he was on, and he suffered a lot. There's a lot of changes, offensive changes, all of that. So I do think that the Raiders are going to be fine based off of whatever's going around in the organization. If their organization is solid now, and they have a nucleus, and they're able to focus this year, I think that they're going to be a contender as well. Just don't know where at in the division they're going to fall. But the reason I speak about the Chiefs, number one, you have the experience. They have a Super Bowl under their belt.
Yes.
And I just really think when you say, because this is what you have to understand. Now everybody's talking about Mahomes. How's he going to do? Tyreek Hill's not there. A guy with his ability, now you give him a reason to work even harder to prove you wrong. That's what I'm thinking about more so than anything. And the guys, and when we forget, Mahomes is pretty mobile outside the pocket, which means that those little breakdowns, maybe he needs to buy a little extra time because he doesn't have the extra speed, whatever it may be, that may give him the edge. And then also, hey, don't forget, they still got Mecole Hardman, who's pretty fast in his own right.
But
so
he's not Tyreek Hill, Dad.
He's not Tyreek Hill, but you never knew who it is until you make them the guy. So you gotta understand. And Kelsey is still the guy to me. It's still all about Kelsey.
Apparently they said they got Juju Schuster. He's going to be their number one guy, apparently.
I'm not big on Juju Smith, so we'll see.
I think he's a
I'm
number
not
two
big
to
on him
me.
either.
I think he's a number two. He never been a number one.
But they're going to make him a number one. That's exactly what they're going to do. But when I'm just saying that in that division, you don't lose Tyreek Hill with how the division is stacked. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because now I'll do you guys one better. I'm gonna rank who I think. I think the Broncos will win the division. I think it'll be Broncos 1, Chargers 2, Raiders 3, Chiefs 4. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to still give it to. I'm going to still. I'll give you Broncos.
I'll
give you Broncos 1. Yeah. I'll give you Broncos 1 just with the acquisition of Russell Wilson. But I'm not going to knock the Chiefs down that far because they've consistently been in the playoffs. So I can't knock him down that far because you don't know what's going on because now you got a reset. If the team's not going to be looking like you used to it looking. It's a reset now. They don't have Tyreek Hill, so that's going to force them to add different offensive packages. They're going to have to change. So with that being said, I think – go ahead. What were you saying?
But
Jeremiah?
you guys, like this division, which team do you think is like, the best defensive one? Because we're talking about
it's out of the Broncos and the Chargers.
It's not the Chiefs. It's not the Chiefs.
The Broncos or Chargers.
It's not the Chiefs. So defensively, you got me. You got me with the defense because the Chargers, they've been working on the defense for a long time.
But guys, we have to go. That was a great conversation. There's going to be a lot more. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'm so ready for the NFL season. It's kind of boring because the sports that I don't like is on and I don't really want to watch that. So that wraps up tonight's show. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, audience, for constantly giving your support. If you guys want to be a guest on my show, you can see it on the screen, JasmineOnSports.com. You can visit the website, look at all my past videos, and look at the future videos that are coming. We will see you here on Monday again for more sports talk. So have a good night.